Hi, welcome back to this DISC video series. My name is Nancy Roberts, the DISC Wizard, and today we're going to be talking about the graphs that are in the DISC assessment that you may have taken. If you haven't taken an assessment, if you don't have something that looks like this, then make sure you email us at info@discwizardonline.com and let us know that you'd like to take a DISC assessment, and we'll make sure that that happens. But if you have your DISC report, please turn to page 22 and look for the page that has two graphs side by side like this. And when you get there, what you'll find is on the right hand side is your natural style, and on the left hand side is your adapted style. And the reason there's two graphs is because everybody's behavior is adaptable. That's the one cool thing about the DISC behaviors, is we actually have the ability to adapt them. Sometimes we know we're adapting them, sometimes we don't know we're adapting them. But what your report will show is how you're adapting for the work environment. So if you remember the instructions when you took the DISC questions, it asked you to think about how you are in a work environment. So your natural style shows who you are when you wake up in the morning, left to your own devices. This is how you operate. If there were no outside influences, this is exactly how you'd want to get things done. And then of course we go into different environments and there's an adaptation. So this is typically how you're adapting at work if you were thinking about work when you took the assessment. And the difference between the natural and adapted, to the extent that you see a difference between the factors, like how high the eye is here versus how high the eye is here, is going to tell you a lot about how you're adapting for the work environment. So I think it's really cool to see that some people don't adapt much at all. I call them the Popeyes of the world, right? I am what I am, and that's all that I am, and I'm not changing for anyone. And that's okay if your job doesn't need you to adapt. Right? Sometimes you're in the perfect role for you and it's just a natural fit and your behaviors match what the job needs. I always say it's like you hit the ground running, and that's great. You may not have to adapt. However, there are some scenarios where you should be adapting something in your behavior in order to do the job better, and for some reason you're not. Maybe it's you're not clearing the expectations. Maybe you have never been shown how to adapt that particular factor or behavioral style, and you might need some coaching around that. In other people's graphs or assessments, you'll see graphs that are very different from their natural to their adapted behavior. And that's what I want to talk about next in the next video, is what happens when, in your natural graph, maybe your dominance is high, but then in your adapted graph you look and it's very low. So in the next graph, we're going to talk about the highs and lows of each of them, and then what does that mean and how's that showing up in your work environment.